We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today we have Luke Smith, and not just an interview with Land Academy member Luke Smith, but Luke's specifically here to tell us a story about buying a church.
It looks like a fireside story based on where Luke is sitting. The only thing we need now is a pipe
Right? And a beard.
and a fire behind you.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Hey, yeah, why not buy a church, right?
We got to hear this. Okay, wait. So how did you, was this in Discord?
It's in Discord,
Okay, so did you just drop some nuggets in there and people start asking questions, or do you just tell the whole story?
It was a rant. It was in the rant section.
I was heated. I was heated because I just got off the phone with the sheriff, right? And I've had a lot of sheriffs call me, and my favorite sheriff call is like, Luke, the road's blocked because there's like a bunch of people here. They say they're looking at your property that's for sale and there's no for sale sign and they're blocking the road. And you made a video on TikTok, and like, nobody sells land on TikTok, you idiot. This has to be a scam. You know, that's my classic sheriff call. When sheriffs call, neighbors are pissed because of some TikTok video I made, right? But this one, I sold a property on TikTok earlier this week, 240 grand on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Crazy.
I got multiple buyers too. I got more buyers after I signed the first one. Like, mom forwarded the daughter a video. Like, hell yeah. Sorry, I'm off on a different angle here. So I was heated because of this sheriff story or the sheriff call, and he just did not make sense. You know, like, he did not make sense. And I get into these different phone calls, lawyers call, and people are always, you know, haggling over something. And I feel like I'm at the short end of the stick because I don't know any better. And I started taking law classes, and I'm not going for a degree or anything, but like property law and contract law. And like, I've got all the books and all the audio lessons, and I ride my bike to the notary, listening to contract law and property law. And, you know, like, I can quote cases on down the line. And this sheriff is telling me that this church that I sold is not on the deed. And these guys that I sold the property to, they went to the church and they broke into the church, and the sheriff showed up, and they're inside the church, and they said it's their church. I'm like, yeah, it's their church. What's the big deal? And the sheriff says, well, it's not. I've had them in prison. Like, I've had them in jail all weekend waiting to get in touch with you. And I'm like, oh man, these poor guys. And like, who's the victim? You know, like, what's the problem? Nobody owns the church. It's vacant. It's been empty forever. I tried to sell it to the pastor I found online, and there's no contact. It's all closed and done. I had multiple people. I marketed the thing on YouTube. I marketed on TikTok. Lots of people got into it on TikTok. And they went and checked out the church. They researched the church. They looked at it. Local people from like the local town, people from the other side of the country, everything, all the internet sleuths through that I could reach through social media. I called people around town. I was trying to sell it to somebody right there that might want to go for it. And they're all like, it's closed. It's vacant. It's nothing going on. And there's nobody to sell the church to. So I hit social media, right? I bought the church for $50, and it was like Arkansas classic. I bought hundreds of properties. The rules changed in Arkansas. You got to like go in a proper auction now against other people, but you used to be able to just buy them right out over the counter and just offer it as a closed bid, I guess you call it. I just mail them a check with some paperwork. Here's my bid. And if they took it, they sent me, and if they didn't take it, they'd send my money back, or they'd send you a counter offer. Right. But I bought, like, let's just take them all. And one of them was this church, and it was the property The weirdness of it was it's a lot. The church spreads across 3 different lots. And so one lot is the one that I got from the tax collector, that they didn't pay the tax on. And the other 2 lots are still owned by the church, who's not paying taxes on them. And so nobody ever takes it away, right? They didn't do their paperwork right somewhere along the way to say that they're a church and they're open 1 hour a week. And they've got, I don't know if it's 3 members or 5 members or whatever it is there. You got to have some minimal members that show up regularly to qualify as a church over the long run, or else the local tax authorities can tax you. And you don't just get that automatically. You have to apply for it and you have to get approved. And so they didn't do their paperwork right on one of the 3 lots. And the other thing the sheriff kept saying is they can't lose the property because they're a church. They don't have to pay tax. Well, that's not the case either. The other thing that the sheriff thought he was dead right about, holding these guys in prison, and he'd been researching this like all weekend and like getting heated and emotional. So he knows there's something like fishy about it. He's like this like worried and calling me and everything, right? It's not just a closed case, throw the guys in jail. We call it commercial trespass, 15 years penalty, right?
Gosh.
Right? Yeah.
No.
So going on. No. So he said the church isn't described on the deed. I'm like, that's property law 101. The legal description is the land. It's a description of the land. And then everything that's attached to it just goes with it. Church is attached to the land. And so if they're on their 1/3 of the church, I think they're in the right. The other 2/3, they don't technically own it. If I were them, I would go for squatting rights and see what the local squatting rights are to take over the other 2/3 if nobody shows up and it's truly vacant and everything. And the sheriff says it's not vacant. There's files, there's stuff inside the church. I'm like, what does that matter? Where's the people? So what's the eviction process in a commercial property in a church where they're not like open and but they left stuff inside and went away? Sheriff says he found the pasture and the pasture says it's theirs. He's got a deed. I'm like, yeah, the deed from like back in the day before he didn't pay the taxes.
Right.
Like that helps. Doesn't mean he owns it. State takes it away. Arkansas, it's 2 years. You don't pay the taxes for 2 years. The state takes it away.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the shortest timeline in anywhere in the US that I know of. Most places are maybe
8.
3 years is like a little one. 5 years is normal. Lots of places are 8 and 10 and 15, but 2 years in Arkansas, no wonder they take so much stuff away.
That's 7 years here in Arizona.
7 in Arizona. And so lots of places have differences between vacant land and residential. But I mean, it's nowhere, it's 2 years. That's like a bad address. And, you lose your property to the state. They give you more time after that to still pay the taxes and get it back. But I mean, they deed it to the state. The state takes it 2 years. It's in the state's name. They start doing warnings. And so back and forth with the sheriff. I was on the line for over an hour talking to this guy. And he just kept calling me a scam because I'm from Southern California and I'm not local and I'm selling land on the internet. And,
Right.
small town, kind of guy. And I just couldn't get over the fact that he didn't understand the deed that the guys that he threw in jail had and showed him. Is their name going from my name to hit their name. He checked it with the county courthouse and it's in their name. It's recorded. It's in their name.
Yeah.
And
right.
he's like, the building, they can't go in the building and the building's not described on the deed.
Man.
So I said, like, I'm sure you own your own house, right? Like break
Right.
out the deed on your house
And look.
and look for your building on there. It's going to describe the land and the lines around the land or what the shape of the land is and legal description. And it's not going to say anything about the building. He said, no, mine describes the building 100%, every square inch, on and on and on. And what it eventually came down to is he's talking about the assessor. the assessor's file versus, I'm talking about the deed.
Oh,
like the
right.
deed transfers the land. The assessor's records has nothing to do with the ownership. That's about how much they're going to tax it. And they're trying to keep their files up to date so they tax properly, right? That's where he believes his house is described. And he didn't realize the difference between like the assessor's records and the deed. So I try to explain that to him. He just gets madder and, doesn't work. So I don't know. I told him,
you don't reside in that jurisdiction because they would have showed up at your house.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
You'd
I
be
got
sitting in
this
jail with
attorney.
those guys.
yeah.
I got an attorney in Arkansas. If anyone else needs an attorney in Arkansas for like real estate stuff, this guy's his dad is like an old judge, right? Call him on the phone and he says, Luke, this is what you have, when I have problems in Arkansas, this is what you do. And he'll quote a case off the top of his head. And like, you can go look up the case and exactly what they did and what the precedence is. And he's got 2 sons. And one is licensed in California. I've used him in California stuff. One is licensed in Tennessee. I've used the other son in Tennessee. And they're all licensed in Arkansas. And they charge Arkansas rates, even though they have a California license. And like, they've settled some cool stuff for me. I had one where I bought this land and a small town is different town than the sheriff that was complaining. And I looked at it and I looked at the legal description and I mapped it out because it wasn't really clear on the maps. And there's a house on it. And I'm like, okay, so there's a house, so there's a $50 property. So I sold the house for, I was like 19 grand and it's gone. Social media, sell it on the internet. And then the guy goes over there and looks at the house. Is there somebody living in the house? I want my money back. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll sell it to somebody else. I sold for like 15 grand. They go over there. They said, somebody's in the house. I want my money back. Whatever. I'll sell it to somebody else. I sold it again for like 10 grand. I'm like, and they did the same thing. They went over there and the guy in the house is irate. Can't get rid of him. I want my money back. Like, geez, this is a boomerang that just keeps always coming back property, right? Fine. Give you a refund, even though it says no refunds all over everything I'm selling. Like, come on, I don't want it back, but this should be easy one to sell, right?
Right.
And so I sold it again. And this guy goes over there and he talks to the guy in the house. And the guy in the house says, no, I bought this from the bank. And I'm making payments to the bank. I still have a mortgage with the bank.
It's not recorded.
Property. This is the contact information for the bank. And this is like a 1 branch bank, local town, right? Like, okay. So the guy wants a refund. I'm like, fine, I'll figure this one out. This is mine. I'm not selling this one. I'm going to get a realtor or something.
Right.
This one. I'm not going to sell it with a credit card checkout anymore. And, so I called the bank and I said, what's going on? And the banker says, yeah, that's our property. We got a mortgage on it. We foreclosed on it. I'm like, I'm looking at the legal descriptions and I'm looking at your mortgage because it's online. And you're describing the vacant lot that's next door, like the backyard of the house, right? And you're not describing the house. You didn't pay tax on the house. The state took the house away. And I bought it from the state. This is like years ago because I've been trying to sell this for years. Like, you don't just go get it back from the state, right?
Right.
And I don't want to kick the guy out of the house. Let's come to a settlement. And
Right.
the banker's like, no, this is what the banker tells me. It's like, no, I got an appraisal of the house. I got it right here in the file. And it's got a picture of the house. Like, okay, so your appraisal has a picture of the house. This is the same thing. Like, land trades on the legal description, not on the mailing address, not on a picture, not on a map. Like, the legal description transfers the land. And the bank screwed up. They wrote a mortgage on the vacant lot, and they did this back in the past. And the guy that they mortgaged it to had the house and the lot. He mortgaged it, and the bank put a mortgage just on the lot, and he didn't understand the legal description part either.
Yeah.
And didn't pay the mortgage, lost it to the bank.
Yeah.
The bank foreclosed. They went and they resold what they thought was the house to this guy that moved into the house. And nobody paid the taxes. The guy is like, in Arkansas, when you're above whatever 62 or something, you get a big tax break. Like you don't have to pay the first $500 or $800 or something in taxes. And that's most all the houses in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, right. And so they're like, he's old enough that he doesn't have to pay tax. Well, they did all the paperwork on the lot next door, and the guy that they defaulted on the mortgage never got the mortgage on that property. He never paid taxes, and the state took it away, and I ended up with it. And so I got this. The banker wouldn't do a deal with me. He wouldn't hear me out. He's like, you got to get it surveyed. You got to blah, 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 blah.
Oh.
So I got this one attorney I'm thinking of in Arkansas, and the judge, right? He wrote him a letter, charged me $150.
Oh my goodness.
Wrote this letter to the bank. No, he wrote it to the guy in the house, and the guy in the house who, it's like, we're going to evict you and kick you out. Go fix this, take it to your banker. And, he took it to the banker and had the banker call the attorney, and the attorney settled. They drew up a deed and they put a cashier's check in there, and they sent it to me and said, sign here and keep the money. Send it back. It's like, boom, done.
How much was it?
Claimed it over to the guy in the house.
How much did they pay you?
It was $12,000.
Awesome.
All right.
For $50?
$50 house, $150 legal bill. And
this is, it's so funny. I'm a nutcase about these contracts and deeds. Like, I'm just thinking, like, even our own personal property stuff, I especially pay attention to those, and make sure we have sat in title offices. I'm like, do it again. Let's all talk about JTROS.
Yep.
And I make them take their stack and go back and do it again. And that's great. Now my name's spelled wrong. Please go do it again.
Yeah.
So
yes.
You gotta watch.
You have to educate everybody, and you have to do math for them. And it's amazing, actually.
Yeah. So
what happened to the guys in jail?
Yeah. Where did the church thing
guys?
end?
Oh, they got out. The sheriff didn't say sorry. He said, you're so lucky. We're reducing this to a misdemeanor, and your court case is later, and like, you should be ashamed of yourself, and blah, 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 blah. So they got in touch with me, and the buyers, my clients, and I said, here's your attorney. Like, let's see how much money you get out of this one, right? Like, these guys, they'll if they don't take the case, I bet you they know who will. And they were pissed. They were pissed at this sheriff. They were pissed at how they're treated. They had like 3 dogs, right? And that's what they were most pissed about. They had their 3 dogs with them in the car, and they got arrested, and they got thrown in a hot car, and forever, like, there. And the sheriff let the dogs out, and the dogs are like running around the neighborhood, running up and down the street. Animal control eventually came, got the dogs, and took off with the dogs while they're in jail. And they were like really pissed and worried about their dogs more than anything. And I don't, like, the last time I talked to them, they still hadn't got their dogs back. And it's like, the fallout bystander of that. I'm a dog guy, right? I've got a dog, like, that pulls at my heart too.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it happens. I mean, yeah, they should have, if there's something in the church, if the church is still being used, or any inclination that it's still being used, they should have done some eviction process, whatever the local standards are. But I was under the influence, it was vacant. They were under the influence, it was vacant. I mean, what do? You look through the windows? Do you knock on the doors? You wait till Sunday morning or something? I mean, come on. You just go take it
around in good faith, trying to do the right thing here. Everything.
I should explain to people who are listening. This is certainly not
exactly
the business we're in.
No.
Back tax property is not. We don't even buy back tax property anymore, and Luke, you probably don't either.
Yeah,
we send out offers, and we never have issues like this. But back tax property has always got some crap, so some type of drama associated with it, which is why Jill and I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and not always. It's just some of Just a few of them burn your bridge. Just they get under your skin. They're just awful. And if you pay so little for them that it's like, whatever, throw that one away and just focus on the rest of them, it works. But the prices of the back tax properties has gone up a lot. There's more competition. There's other people bidding for them. It's not as easy as it used to be. I'm sure there's still deals and things to be had if you go searching, but it's just like Jack is saying, it's a lot easier to send mail and get cleaner properties with less drama that are higher quality, less picked over, no competition or hardly any competition. And you can just go work on those properties.
And then go sell it on TikTok.
Yeah, go sell on TikTok. Like I love TikTok. I wish I had more time to do TikTok videos. It's so much better than YouTube. I love YouTube too, but TikTok 15-second video, like 15,000 viewers, bam, here you go. Right. And TikTok is amazing at finding locals to that property. They throw their stuff at the wall. They throw your stuff at the wall, right? And see what sticks. And people that know the area or are familiar with the area or something, they forward it to the person that lives in that town. And the person that lives in that town sends it to the other people that live in that town or that street or that, I've driven by here, whatever it is. They're really good at geolocating stuff. And I don't think they mean it for real estate. I think they mean it for, kids dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
Around Times Square, like they're going to show this around the time people walking through Times Square are going to get the video of people dancing in Times Square. Right. But if they're walking by my property, they're going to get the video of my property or, they're walking their dog, whatever it is. And they're watching TikTok at the same time, driving and watching TikTok. I don't know. Hopefully you don't do that. TikTok finds you and they put my stuff in front of you. And the people that get back are amazingly accurate at loving these properties. They're good at understanding who likes these kinds of videos, these kinds of sales pitches, whatever it is. Their algorithms are night and above and beyond the other social media networks at promoting land.
No, we're not on it. And I just wrote a note because I'm going to see if we can air this show on there.
So I started to play with TikTok. Yeah. Well, I got Clubhouse. I'm all about Clubhouse, but I started to play with TikTok and then remember all that like scares a little while back about, who was managing it? I don't know. Then so I offloaded TikTok. And then I honestly didn't know that. I thought the average viewers were our son's age and he can't afford a property. Yeah. So I didn't know. This is really good. So we'll have to circle back around. Maybe it's changed too.
I have a bunch of Arkansas property. I'm going to go see if there's any
$20,000, $30,000, $40,000 credit card checkout properties on TikTok. Like the same day the video goes out, sometimes within an hour of the video going out. Like,
do you link them back to your site and then they check out there?
You used to be able to put a link in the comments, but it's not linkable. I'd tell them to cut and paste it and then put it in. Now you can't even do that. So I started getting flagged for putting the link. So now I just tell them, my name is ruralvacantland.com. It's like, hello, you can figure that out. And then I put search and then a property number on there and they can go to my website and they can search whatever that property number is. Perfect. So you get the ones that really care going to the website. And if you watch the traffic on the website, like you make the video and the traffic goes bang, people are back at it. And they go hit it.
Love that.
Down the rabbit hole, a bunch of other properties on the website too. But TikTok it's fun. Like it's so much more efficient, short little fast videos. Like you got to get your sales pitch out there quick. You make a long video, it doesn't get passed around. People lose attention and they're not watching at the end of it. And you want them to watch it multiple times. When they watch the video multiple times, the ratings go up and you want them to ask questions. Like you don't want to answer everything. I thought it'd be a great idea to answer all these stupid questions I get in the comments before they even ask them. That's not a good idea because then they don't ask the questions. You want them to ask the questions. And when they ask the questions, your rankings go zing. And then you answer the questions. And as you just like burning out your fingers, answering questions on your phone as fast as you can go, And as the more you're answering questions, the more your ratings go up. And the more you're online, the more you're talking to these people, and the more they're sharing with people, the more your ratings go up. And then you turn your phone off, you come back later and look at the ratings. Like as soon as you turn your phone off, it just, your ratings drop off.
Awesome.
They want you to stay on there.
All right.
Which I don't like that part, but
I have a vision. Because I know you have we have met your children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can imagine 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening after homework's done and daddy is handing out burner phones and making the kids answer questions on TikTok.
Right?
I thought Joe was going to say the kids need a t-shirt that says, my daddy single-handedly wrecked TikTok.
That's it. We'll get on that.
Daddy wrecked TikTok.
My daddy broke TikTok. That's good.
I researched the heck out of TikTok, and there's not a whole lot of good stuff about their algorithms. Like hardly anybody describes it. You just got to try it and test and see, and it seems to go in waves. You'll start slow and they'll maybe show your video to 100 people or something. And if any of them watch it a couple times or ask questions, then they'll show it to 1,000 people. And then the next, it circles for a little bit. And then they'll throw it at like 5,000 people. And it goes in waves. Like next thing you know, they throw it at like 100,000 people. And like, holy cow, your thing's freaking alive. You got like millions of views. And the comments are, what? It's got like zeros next to the numbers of the comments. And it just goes and goes and goes. And then the sheriff calls, then we're back to where we started. Then the sheriff's calling, wondering why so many people are blocking the road by your property. Right? Then it worked.
Excuse me, sir. Did you not see the TikTok yourself?
Wow.
Yeah, again.
It's just fascinating.
I know.
How did you miss my TikTok video? You're not watching TikTok while you're driving around looking for speeders? Come on, man.
Exactly. Oh,
look, we're out of time.
Awesome. Thank you. Can I just, before we go, because we haven't seen you in a while, and I know you guys caught up recently. So everything good? Everybody happy? And the horse is good?
The horse is good. Yeah, horses. My wife has, I think, 15 horses now, and she's got too many horses. We're going to Sweden for the summer. We're just about, it's like a month until we make the switch over to Sweden. We've got horses that we rent there, the same horses as last summer. We go ride on the beach and through the woods and all over the place. That's where my wife's from, and take the kids and go get some Swedish culture and then come back for school in the fall. So that's what we're gearing up for. I miss a lot of the regular Thursday shows because I have the kids, it's like after school time, and I'm on deck with the kids that time. So it's, but I miss your shows. I should get into a more reschedule or something, but that's just the way it is.
We'd love to have
kids
you.
are great.
Sneak away.
I know, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More deals. Thanks, Luke.
Going.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And like I said last time, we'll make this some type of regular thing because you got great stories.
Oh, yeah.
Always to share stories behind us. Do some big dollar spread stories. That's what we should.
My stories are not that good. I got to come up with, this is good. Thank you for putting them in Discord too and sharing with everybody, because I know everybody gets a lot out of that. So
I like Discord. It's a good tool. A lot goes on there. I can't keep up with it all, but it's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon, Luke. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.